Hello and welcome to Uniko's 12 Days of Christmas Inspiration and Giveaways Day 8. I can't quite believe we're this far. It's getting closer to the minute of finishing this video series. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, and thank you for all the new followers on my YouTube channel. For all the lovely comments and for joining in with this feature today. I am heading to the 1950s, 1960s. If you know me and Uniko, I am heavily inspired by a lot of design styles with my products, and one that I haven't really touched on or used for a while is the pop art style, which inspired the products that I'm using today. I think Cracking Christmas is a stamp set that is often overlooked. It looks a little bit daunting, maybe a little bit limiting, but I designed it to go along with these two sets. We have the original Explosion set, which has the explosion as the main feature, and these fun pop art little mini sentiments and embellishments and things. And then after I designed that one, I decided it needed some additions, and I added the half-tone explosion and larger sentiments, and then some smaller accent sentiments and lots of explosions. Obviously there are the dies to go with these, but they are out of stock at the minute, unfortunately, as they are super popular. But I designed these two and the background block halftone, which led me on to designing quite some time afterwards. I can't remember the dates. I'm rubbish at remembering the dates of when I released stuff. But I decided that I would do a cracker set where the cracker was being pulled apart and you'd have the explosion. And this is the sort of style of card that I had in mind when I designed this set. So I'm going to make this card today, show you how I did it with all the little features, and yeah, let's get going. So I've gone for a DL card today, which is unusual for me. I don't normally go for this style, but obviously with the cracker elements you need a bit of a larger space. The explosions are quite large, so I'm just using this removable adhesive again just to secure this to my work surface. And we're going to start off by stamping the half-tone explosion in the background, which I've done on the original card. So maybe this will bring the pop art back to life again a little bit. It was quite a big trend a few years ago. So I'm using Concord and 9th inks again, and this one's Buttercup. It's a nice bright yellow. So I'm just going to sort of stamp this. There's no rhyme or reason how you want to stamp it, but I'm roughly going to go for the centre of my card. There's no right way or wrong way. And you can use any colours you like. I've used yellow here. I was thinking of sort of like sparks flying. I suppose this was a little bit influenced when I made this card with Fireworks Day, which was on Sunday here in the UK, when I started thinking about what I was going to use this week. So maybe my colours are influenced by that a little bit. Who knows? So I've just cleaned my stamp off there with my stamp chamois next to me, trying to tidy up as I go along today. So I went ahead and got myself a little bit organised this week, so I didn't have loads of steps to bore you with. I went ahead and I stamped the explosion from the original smaller explosion set, and I've coloured it blue this time, where in my original card I coloured it red. I fancied doing it a little bit different, so I went ahead, stamped it, coloured it and fussy cut it out. It isn't as hard as you think fussy cutting this one out because it's nice straight edges. And then I went and stamped my cracker pieces and the word cracking. So I've used alcohol markers to stamp colour the cracker here, and as you see I have cut it right out to the edge without leaving a white border, because I am going to add this halftone detailing to the crackers here. So I'll just set this aside a second and I'll show you how I added the halftone detail to my crackers, throwing my blocks across my work surface. It gets a little bit chaotic occasionally in here. I have tidied up before I got started. So this wasn't the first block, but it was one of the newer, one of the most original ones that came out at the beginning. I really need to do a list of when I release stuff, because I just can't remember that I've got that much now. So I'm using this end here at the bottom that has wider gaps between the dots, and as you come up they become closer together, larger, to create this halftone effect. So I simply inked that and I just stamped it across to create this lovely pop art halftone effect to my cracker. If you didn't have that, you could add the dots using a fine liner, for example, or you could add cross hatching. There's all different sort of ways of adding some details. Don't necessarily need it, but I just thought it added a fun effect, and I just did the same here. And I lifted it up. I'm going to put that stamp aside for now, and I'm just going to move that aside. So as you see on my card here, I did some colouring to the word cracking, and I blended yellow, orange and red, and I just thought I'd do a little bit of colouring while I chatted to you this week about crackers. So my question to you this week, for you to win the prize, and the prize this week is obviously Cracking Christmas, and I am throwing in Explosion and Explosion editions as well, because I think they pair lovely together. They work, they complement each other. And if you struggle to make cards for teenagers, for men, I just think they are a good addition to your stamping repertoire for those types of cards. So that is the prize this week. And my question is, do you have crackers, Christmas crackers at your Christmas table, or do you not bother? In the past, I have made Christmas crackers from scratch. I don't think I did it last year, but I think I did it the year before. And they were a hit with the boys because they got something they enjoyed, something they loved. I just think they're a nice feature. They bring back memories of pulling crackers with family or just before dinner, as everything was serving. So do you have crackers? And if so, do you buy them ready, done, filled, or do you make your own? So I'm going to make my own again this year. I bought pre-cut crackers and all the elements and everything. It was like a kit. So I'm a bit undecided how I'm going to make them this year, whether I do them sort of so they do crack, or whether I make them sort of more of a gift box. But the prizes that I usually tend to put in my crackers, for the boys it's Lego, and for us adults I've either bought a lottery ticket or a lottery scratch card. You know, just adds to the bit of fun really, doesn't it, of Christmas Day. Sometimes you get useful prizes inside, but most often or not they are a little bit tatty and they end up getting discarded. So I try and do something that's either a little bit more useful or fun inside. So here I started with the yellow and then the orange and the red, and then I'm just going back in and blending the colours slightly. It doesn't matter too much. In the past I have done these colours. They seem to be a favourite of mine for colouring these pop art style sentiments. And then in the past I have actually masked off and I added the halftone effect before. It was actually using the large BAM and WOW from Explosion Editions where I've done it before. It's probably on the website if you want to have a look back. So yeah, the prize is the 3 main sets that I'm using today, and the question is all about Christmas crackers, so I'd love to know. As you can see, I'm very nosy when it comes to other people's Christmases, but I just think it's fun to know what others do, especially if other countries, not everyone follows what we do here in the UK, so everyone has different traditions and different ways of doing things. I know some people have their Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve rather than Christmas Day, things like that. So I just find it really interesting to see how different cultures and different countries do things slightly differently. So here I'm just going in and blending the colours a little bit here, just so they don't look as blocky. You could use greens and blues with the yellow instead. You wouldn't have to use reds, yellows and oranges. You can use whatever colours you want really at the end of the day. I just seem to have a go-to for certain things, and it's hard to break out of my go-to sometimes. But I wanted to do a bit of pre-stamping, so I wasn't here forever this week. So I've pre-recorded this video this week because on Friday I am travelling to Port Sunlight over on the west coast near Liverpool for the Stamping Together show. Used to be Happy Stampers. It was the very first show that Uniko did, and I suppose it holds special memories, and I've got lots of lovely friends over there now who and regular customers who pop by and see me. I can't wait to see you all. If you can't come to the show, obviously those of you who are abroad, further down south in the UK, you might want to tune in to the How To Craft Network. I've done videos before. I will try and drop a link in the post on the blog, because I will be going live at some point on the How To Craft Network at the show. I've got a little demo planned, so yeah, if you can't attend, you might want to check in online. If I can, if you miss it, I will post a link after the show on Sunday, so you can catch up. So what I'm going to do now, I've done all my sort of colouring. Before I assemble this card, I'm going to add the halftone detail in here, and the line detail as well. So I used the background block halftone and background block linear, which is back in stock, but stocks are running low, so if you've been waiting for it, grab one. Though I will be restocking a few things after the show. If you have any stamp requests of something you've been waiting for, drop me an email at bev@uniko.co.uk and tell me what you're after. I always like to know. So I did blue for my explosion. I think I'm going to do blue for the halftone as well, along the edges. Because I think that would look nice. So I pulled my halftone stamp off, didn't I? Just hope it's dry. So let's choose a nice blue. We've got Blueberry from Concord and Night. I think we'll use that one to add the halftone effect. Again, I'm using the smaller dots, so I'm only sort of inking up halfway because I'm not going to use the whole block. This bit doesn't have to be perfect, so it's just adding a little bit of detail to the background on the corners. You don't necessarily have to add this, but even though pop art has a bit sort of more of a, it's not as clean and simple, it's more clean and graphic, I would say, rather than simple. So clean and simple, you tend to have sort of more open spaces with white, or you know, where there isn't any details, where pop art has quite a lot of detail to it. So that's why I say it's sort of more clean and graphic. So I've done that, and then I added the linear line detail in. Such a fun stamp. It's been super popular. I'm surprised I've still got some in stock, but I half suspect a few people are waiting to get it at the show if they've been after it. I try to stock as much as I can. I only have, because it's just me and I only have limited space being here working at home, I can only keep so many of each product, so I have a good range still in stock. So that's why, and sometimes it's alternating and getting in what people request. So I'm just adding it here. And then we'll go back and show you this card. So I added some little explosions and things, but I did that after I'd added the main popped up explosion. So I'm using foam adhesive again, little foam pads, don't need a lot. Of them, just to add it in. So do you like the pop art style? It's a collection that I'm always sort of looking to expand, but it's something I like, but I think it's not as trendy as it once was. Maybe we can get the trend back by using these pop art style things more. But yeah, I find I do use them a lot for men's cards and teenagers, and they work really well for that. So there's no correct way of layering these. I just added that in there. Now for the sentiment, the cracking, I doubled up in the middle of the word with my foam adhesive. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I doubled up because I wanted it to be raised off the explosion a little bit. So I'm just going to double up the adhesive in the middle so it doesn't bend too much, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to double up these end bits. I said that wrong. So I'm doubling up at the end over these three at the end. So you don't need a lot of foam adhesive for them to stay in place. These pads are pretty sticky. They get a little bit awkward taking these squares off, but I do prefer the smaller squares than a big roll of tape. Just stick one there and then put a double one up there. So theoretically, when you put this over the explosion, it's all nice and straight. So then I will add these eventually to either side, and I'll do foam adhesive again for them, but I'm going to add the small details first. So I used, what did I use? I used the Explosion Editions. So I used this little outline explosion here. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention is the sentiment font matches, so you can do mix and match, so it all pairs together. And then I used these little sort of like dashes to add some details as well. So I'm going to use my smaller little blocks, just get them out of the way. So I have some sort of tinier little acrylic blocks here for smaller stamps. I'll just move that out of the way. And I just added a little sort of trio of explosions. You could colour them in, add glitter. There's all sorts of things you could do with these. I'm loving this new colour theme that I've gone for this combo that I've gone for this card. It's got a bit more of sort of a masculine feel to it, using less sort of red and oranges. But yeah, it's nice to try a different colour combo. And then I'm going to add these ones sort of popping out from the word and the explosion itself. It just adds that little bit extra sort of exclamation, oomph, whatever you'd like to call it. And I'll do another one up here, as so. Put that on there. And then I'm going to add my crackers first, my two ends of the cracker, and then I will add the accent sentiment, Havre and Christmas. So foam adhesive again. I'll just lift this up a little bit. I realised I was working quite low to my desk. To the bottom of my desk, I should say. So yeah, time is ticking. So we've only got 4 more weeks after this week of inspiration. I've planned out roughly what I am going to be using, but I might even throw in a bonus day if I don't get to incorporate everything that I've planned out. It's amazing how quickly time goes when you're having fun. And it's challenging me to use products that I haven't used for a while. And it's nice to revisit these products. So these crackers, they have some larger sort of depth lines here, thicker lines. I tend to keep them towards the bottom of my cracker. They are designed that you can join the cracker like so. And I did a interactive card where the cracker opened as you opened the card. So there is that interactive element as well if you wanted to do that. So I've added the foam, and I tend to keep these solid lines more towards the bottom of my cracker, but there is no rules, so they can go at the top if you want to. And I'm just putting it sort of on the angle here, and then the same with the bottom. Say I did a lot of black on this card, you could have done the lines in a red or an orange to add a bit more detailing and colour impact. But I quite like the drama of all the black. And then I'm adding that one there like that. So for my sentiments, the accent sentiments, when I trim card, I always end up with these little bits of offcuts. And I shared a card recently where I made like a lattice, a sort of framework for the poppy to sit on. But I also use these offcuts for sentiments. I just find them perfectly sized most of the time. And there's a little bow if you wanted to girlify it a little bit or bling it up, the crackers. You can stamp the bows and then add the bows to the end of the crackers as well. I've done that. So there's lots of little details and extra explosions and things. So this set does contain obviously the explosion that you could use. You don't have to have these two sets to use it. You know, there is everything in this set that you need. but as I say, I designed them to work all together. So a little explanation there. I realise I'm gibbering away a little bit today. It's been quiet in the studio today, this week. I've only had, I think it was Tuesday where my husband worked from home, so I don't get to talk to a lot of people, so you're getting the brunt of it this week. So again, I'm just using the VersaFine Clay Nocturne ink for stamping my sentiments. And I'm just gonna eyeball this and stamp that. And I'm gonna leave a bit of a gap because I'm gonna trim these. And again, adhere them using a foam adhesive to my card. So I'll just make a little bit of space because I need my paper trimmer. You could use scissors, but those that know me, I am a little bit of a perfectionist. So I like to have nice straight lines with things. And this is how I do it. You get to see how I make all my cards with me doing these videos, and my little ways of doing things. You can see I'm just eyeballing up my gaps here. Maybe I'm not a super perfectionist. If I was a super perfectionist, I would measure, but I'm just eyeballing it. And so there's the Christmas, and we'll have a cracking Christmas. You could even, if you wanted to, use the cracking for Easter. Have a cracking Easter. Obviously you'd want to make it, I don't have any chicks or anything, but if you had chick stamps, they would work with that, or an egg. Maybe that's a new idea for a new stamp set, who knows. I'm not great at drawing animals or people. That's something I need to learn and work on, hence why I don't have lots of cute stamps. My animals tend to be quite simplified. Again, I'm just adding the foam adhesive here. If you wanted to bling it up, you could add glitter to the sentiments or the explosions. You could add some bling in the form of enamel dots. There's lots of options you could do. Just added that there. And then we'll add the hover. And then we're just going to map the card on a larger piece. So this piece was 9.5 centimeters by 20, and my DL card is 21 by 10.5, and I pre-cut this piece here. And I'm just going to use double-sided tape to add it. Got a new double-sided tape. It's amazing how quickly I go through this stuff. I don't know if you're the same. I'm trying to find the end. I've got a little bit of a thicker tape this time. Hopefully you don't need to add quite as much. So yeah, I'm heading over to Port Sunlight and I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to get away for a little bit and as I say, get to see your lovely faces face to face and chat to you all. So it can be a little bit lonely stuck in the studio on my own all day, but I suppose it's the price you pay sometimes, isn't it, choosing to work at home. But at least I get to go out. It's not raining today. The sun is out, but it's not quite as bright as it has been earlier. Nip in the air, so I'm looking forward. I've been making sure that I'm going out every day to have a walk, even if I haven't got lovely orders to post. Doing this blue zone challenge. I don't know if anyone's seen it online, but in the fitness world it's something that's trending at the moment and people are talking about. It's got some basic principles of looking after self-care, getting out and getting all the sort of vitamins. So I'm learning about that at the moment, and I'm just centralising this card, and there we have it, the second version of this original card, and slightly different colouring. Which one do you prefer, the top or the bottom? I can't quite decide. They're both quite fun for me. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed looking at this Christmas stamp set, and obviously the explosion sets as well. I look forward to sharing more inspiration with you next week. Thank you very much. See you soon.